or fantastically. For me, I can't pinpoint to any, projects or any, according to my grandmother, the family of the disease. It's very unfortunate. You see, the issue you raised it is very unfortunate that we have gradually, missed it as a people and as a nation. If you ask me, why are they, defecting? Why are they decamping? Is it that the president is doing too well or fantastically? For me, I can't pinpoint to any, projects or any, according to my grandmother, fantabulous project that this present administration is doing. I can tell you for a free, they're all doing it because they know that for them to have a comeback, the APC as a party is the only party that will be able to ring the election for them to come back. That's just because they know that they have on the ringing machine. It has been.
But these are all people that have defeated the APC in elections before.
Let me quickly say this. And again, two things: to ring them back to office, for protection or perhaps for security. You ask me why the protection or security? Maybe some of them, perhaps in the course of them, administering the collective patrimony, they must have soiled their hand. What happened in Delta State not too long ago, the vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, there is quote unquote alleged that because of his ESCC case, that's why he decided to pitch.
So he said it has nothing to do with.
No, there's every point out of the fact to agree totally with it. You can recall 2019, January 19, the then national chairman, Senator Adams Ali Oshomole once said that if you are a sinner, once you join the APC, your sins are forgiven.
But recently he clarified this.
It's a punch. It's a punch.
Yeah, I mean, he also gave another interview on a national platform. He said, listen, he was very categorical about what he said, and it has been taken out of context. He said he was making that in reference to the person who was decamping to join the APC in Edo State. And he said that person's name and the understanding from the local parlance is that, he has done wrong. And that's basically what he's saying, because the person he was referring to was not even somebody who is in government.
You believe that?
I mean, that's his
explanation. That's his explanation. You know better. You know better than I do. I'm not very frank. So that's where we find ourselves. We find ourselves in a quagmire. But it's pathetic and disheartening at this date and time that we behave like as if we are living in the late 50s. It's very sad. I said it earlier. For me, I don't see anything fantastic with this present government. For instance, you are aware that some ministers and some federal they are on their way to United Kingdom, London, to showcase what this present administration what they are doing. If you are a father, you are a husband. If you are performing incredibly well in your house, you don't need to go to the media to announce to your children or to your wife that you are doing well. What you are doing well, definitely, communicate. It will be visible.
You don't think there's a point to package Nigeria to
listen, we're not living in the 50s.
If you're looking for investment and things
as we speak very just now, we are living in a global village. Tech is rule the world as we speak. We can whatever we are doing here now, they are viewing in the United States of America. We can be showcasing what we are doing here in this country, in the territory of this country, and people all over the world will be viewing it. We are not living in the Stone Age, in the age of during not the Azikiwe and the likes, where you have to travel from the east to the north to be able to tell the people this is what is happening in the north. We've gone past that era. They are wasting taxpayers' money, and Nigeria need to speak out. We are saying that we find ourselves in an economic conundrum. Here you are wasting taxpayers' money by having a fleet of ministers going for a jamboree, and they will go with their aides. For me, with the present economic crisis in this country, I don't expect that from this government.
That international conference is a waste of money.
It's a complete waste. It's a jamboree. It's a complete waste without me begging or trying to let me speak in the tone of Igodomigodo. This is not the time to be starting pepper souping and equalizing. We've gone past those era. This era we must face it squarely. What is staring us in the face, my brother, is a thing that you don't have any explanation to. You saw what is happening to our security architecture. You saw the killing that's happening in every state across the states. We're having a pitch of it, and you are doing jabbering. You're not willing to face it squarely. We could see they need to stop this politics of big starting and face the issue head on. We probably see it is time for serious business. We want to be very frank.
And let's talk about the conundrum that a lot of people say these defections have once again reignited about what is right and what is wrong, because there is a constitutional protection for political association, right? But the APC, when it went into power, had less than 60 seats in the Nigerian Senate, right? Now it has close to the two-thirds it needs to get whatever legislation it needs to pass. And some say that is not fair. It's not fair that you don't win through the ballot, but you win through defections, or you gain so much number through defections, whether it's state governments or even in the legislative chambers. Talk to me as someone who has been in the National Assembly.
No, in the State Assembly.
Talk to me about what the conversations are, because when you hear lawmakers say, listen, this is in the best interest of our constituents, our parties are not as stable as we need, and to get the best, that's why we are cross-carpeting to the other side that seems a lot more stable. Does it make sense to you, and do you think there's a legal loophole there for defections and how it appears to be robbing the parties that win the elections?
Let me be very frank with you. I think as a nation, we have missed it. You ask me why? For allowing, with utmost humility to him, President Bola Tinubu to have been the president of this country. It's a big miscalculation on the part of Nigerians. Before now, he doesn't need to talk to have his will. You see, one thing about parliamentarians, it's all about majority. They speak for the majority of this country. But you agree with me, see, the section, especially this National Assembly, some will refer to it as being a rubber stamp. You agree with me that then everything is just that's the president always, all the time, even if at midnight. You saw what happened to the issue of the rivers, that issue of declaring a state of emergency, a voice vote. My brother, when the persons that were at the National Assembly has to speak that day, they're not even up to 1/3 of the population of the National Assembly. So that's where we find ourselves. We don't need, President Tinubu doesn't need to have to have his way. He's a man that is extremely, brilliant when it comes to the politics and politicking of the Nigerian state. I must give it to him, because I followed him while he was, the governor of Lagos State. I followed him since then. Yeah, he was, at the point, he was the only opposition, governor in this state. And that is even when the then president, President Olusegun Obasanjo, as he then was, trying to the issue of creating SCDA, local government. He must want him by way of holding back his allocation. But still, if he find his way, be able to meander, and here he is as the president. So for me, I have said it. The mistake we miscalculated by allowing him to be the president, because all the time we have his way, even while he's sleeping.
Do you understand why some people say, listen, if you are saying that the president is very good at playing the game of politics,
very well,
why then are you blaming him for people cross-carpeting? It's good politics on his part.
See, don't misconstrue me. I have never blamed him for one day. I have never. If you've tried to follow the way I've tried to analyze it, I have not. See, he's too intelligent for the average Nigerian politicians. This is the first time as a nation we're having a man that has been a real politician and a billionaire to be a president of this country. If you recall, that was one of the reasons that the military hierarchy kicked against having MK Abiola as the president of this country. Go back to history. So one of the reasons. So for us, we've missed it, and it is an error on the part of Nigerians. So for me, I have never, the blame on his doorstep. He's a smart man. He's a smart fellow.
And you don't think? I mean, you talked about some of the connections between the people that have defected recently to, cases with the EFCC and things like that. You don't think people are being forced to join the APC?
I would say yes and no. Yes, in the sense that I tried to give you a picture just now. Some persons believed on two reasons. One, they believe that the APC, the All Progressive Party Congress, can bring them to power again in 2027. Two, that they need security, they need protection. Perhaps in the course of them, before their president seat, presiding over the collective patrimony of the people, they must have soiled their hands. So they will need protection that will protect them from persecution from the ICPC, EFCC, and the likes. So perhaps that is why they've decided to pitch tents with the ruling party. For me, the freedom of association is there, and the freedom of speech, but it's after speech that we are not very sure.
Right.
But for me, they are free.
Talk to me about this recent development, the rejection of one of 6 bills that couldn't scale through in the House of Representatives. The idea of rotational presidency, is the theme of the conversation for 2027. The FCT minister recently, while giving yet another media party, said the PDP, for instance, which is the second biggest party, so to say the main opposition party, cannot present a candidate from the north in 2027. That's his position, but you understand that there is this shifting narrative about it's the turn of the south to produce the next president, whether it's President Bola Tinubu or somebody else, but it has to go to the south. And that has also been re-echoed in the National Assembly, in the House of Representatives. Although this bill is now dead and buried, but do you understand where this sentiment of rotation is coming back to?
I have tried to listen and have a kind of understanding of the opposition or the voices against the rotational presidency. I have not been able to pinpoint to a very cogent reason. All the reasons, adduced to their thinking, to me, it is pedestrian and infantile. I must be very frank with you. Very pedestrian. I must be very frank. That the issue of, to bring about incompetency in administering this federation, in every zone, with utmost humility and simplicity, we have competent hands. Let me try to situate it in Edo State, for instance. Let me try to use Edo State, for instance. The last, governorship, raised in Edo, the PDP featured a very prominent, son of this country, in the person of Dr. Asolime Ligodalo. To some of us, we believe that he's not a candidate of a governor. He's a candidate of a president. He better fit as a president. For somebody to now, I read it, one of Madaki, something like representing, I can't actually pinpoint the name, that accusing that it will bring about, mediocrity and what have you. And the issue that they talked about ethnic, rivalry and whatever. For me, it negates the issue of the federal character. If you are saying that the issue of rotational presidency is not we are not mature for it now, or perhaps it is premature. So what do you take federal character, for instance? So why we allowing federal character? I mean, so for me, the issue of rotational presidency we address one and very significant, the issue of marginalization, especially our brothers in the southeast.
How does that work in a democracy, though? If, say, for instance, I come from the northeast, and if in 2027 is the turn of the northeast to produce a president,
definitely,
and I miss out on that, I can't bring myself to contest ever again until the next.
When you say you miss out, how do you mean?
What I'm saying is, if, for instance, I don't get the shot in the year that was allocated for the northeast,
definitely,
I can't contest.
Other citizens of that constituency.
No, I'm saying in the next election I can't contest because it has been zoned to a different region.
Yes.
And that doesn't make sense in the idea of a democracy.
Let me say this. When I lost my father when I was in jail, I grew up with my grandmother. So my grandmother would always say, he said, if a man in a community says he's the only one to have a cure to a particular sickness, it's the only one, monopoly, that man is the cause of that sickness. Because you miss out, or you want to ascribe that you are the only competent person in that zone. No, there are other competent hands. So if you miss out, go to another. See, even when it's open, we have had the cause to have the never do well. My secondary school teacher will refer to some of my classmates then that would usually sit at the back and constitute. You know what I mean? Teacher then will refer to them, they never do well. Say, no, they are there making the noise and constituting. But that we have the list of us administering and presiding over our collective patrimony, as we speak very justly. So for us, the issue of rotational, it will significantly address the issue of marginalization. And should that is not the bane. That is not the bane of these pockets of cry for secession, like the IPOB, for instance. It will address it.
Yeah, and do you think
the what was it called in the West? That's what's it, the one the Oduduwa, or so to speak, the Oduduwa nation. It will address it. Knowing fully well that yes. So 4 years time or 8 years time, it will be in my zone.
And should it be in this current form? I mean, the bill has been rejected, obviously. But do you think microzoning is a bigger problem compared to macrozoning? Because right now what we have in principle is macrozoning. They say west, north or south. But the idea of the bill is for each of the 6 geopolitical.
Definitely, that's more ideal. So that to go around. As we speak very just, and you agree, the one we've had in the south has always been in the west, the Yoruba enclave. In the north,
I mean, you had a Jonathan.
That was just it was data president. You and I know. After that,
he was elected in 2011.
In the sequence of it, right, you understand that perfectly. The West, but it was that happened. Permit me, I don't want to say it is in the hand of God. I don't know where to ascribe it to. Whether I say the hand to left or the hand to right, I don't know. I'm a little bit confused at that point.
Okay, we have a couple of minutes to spare, but let me get your take on the actions of the Department of State Services filing a lawsuit against Professor Pat Otomi over his role in launching the shadow government. First of all, what do you think about the shadow government as a concept, and what do you make of this reaction from the DSS?
I'm a little bit confused. Because very justly, I believe that we have, especially the security formations, they have too many works in their doorstep. They need to just they don't need to look at to be labeled with the trivias. For me,
you think this is a trivial issue?
It's a trivial issue. This is a issue you have to do with politics. It's have to do with politics, even in our small family units. There's the issue of yes, you are not being recognized, or you are not doing it well, even between the man and the wife. Was just gonna call for a family meeting. There are ways we address it. If the president is doing well, or permit me, as they will say, the presidency is doing well, there won't be any this pocket of. Perhaps it would have been at a very substantial level for the DSS. With utmost humility, I think they are missing it. They are missing that core mandate to gather information. As we speak, there are killings left, right, center in every nook and cranny in the length and breadth of this country. What are the DSS? What are they doing? What are they doing?
And what do you think about the idea of the shadow government as explained by Pat Utomi and what it stands to achieve?
For me, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's the issue of to galvanize the people, because my brother, we must say a spade is a spade. It's never a garden fork. As there's nothing, as we speak, very just now that is working in this country with utmost humility. I don't know. Maybe I'm just coming from the moon, but as I speak, is it in the economy? Is it in politics? Is it in security? Is it in our social life? Nothing. And we're not becoming an object of ridicule, even with smaller nations. Even Burkina Faso, Mali, just name them, Cameroon.
Right.
They not see us as a pariah state. Permit me, as we have it currently, this is a fair state. Permit me.
Okay. I mean, let's agree to disagree about the adjectives to use, because I'm sure there are a lot of people that would not.
Definitely, it's my opinion.
Exactly. But we're gonna have to leave it here for now, Honorable Destiny. And now,
Alpha, did you hear him? That's excellent. That's what is happening today. Now, everything has collapsed under Tinubu's government. He said he has not seen anything meaningful that he has done. So, you are still expecting. He said it was a miscalculation to have allowed Tinubu to come in as a president. We are not even talking about marginalization again. Everybody knows that now, that we have been, the people from the south have been marginalized. So that is it. So, DSS. In fact, Nigeria problem is too much to talk about. It's too much to talk about. Nigeria wahala. See, give this country another 40 years to face this country. This country can only go worse. It's going to get worse. So 40 years from now to face Nigeria, we can't face it. We can't now. We can't. No, nothing is working, because if you want 40 years to work to face this country, you need to start now. If you want to lay a foundation, if you want to build that, you need a foundation, a solid foundation, right? We need to, say we don't start, but now we are not starting. We are not starting. These 2 years, we are not going to start. And if Tinubu, God forbid, if he comes back again 2027, the 2027 to 3031, before the next election, we are not even going to start at all. We are not starting. That means it's still far. If another person who knows what he's doing, head on, right, come in 2027 to say, okay, let's do this. Let's position this country in the right direction. That's when we start counting from 2027, counting 40 years. But otherwise, it's a waste of time to believe that Nigeria is going to work again. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be your guy. Run out for me now.